Welcome to the third video in the series of videos devoted to presentation and writing skills. In this video we focus on how to do the presentations in the background and aims sections. And this is both regarding the writing and regarding the oral presentation of this. And as before, this is part of the teaching material of ISP Group. It's free to use for anyone who wants to use it. It's part of the CDIO course, and we are here in the beginning. And in the beginning here, both in report version 1 and in the first presentation, you should present the background and the aims. So this is both for these two things. So what is the point of having a background or an introduction? Well, the point is to bring everybody up to speed about basic background knowledge. So in an audience, usually you have people that know different things. They might know about your specific disease and your specific problem, but they might not know about the methods and the mathematical models, or vice versa. They might know about mathematical models, but not about the basic stuff in the medical background. So therefore you sort of need to catch everybody, need to lift everybody up to a sort of basic level of understanding, so they understand the rest of the story. And in doing that, you should present it in such a way that you gradually zoom in on the latest developments and therefore give the reader or listener the feeling that the field and the specific question that you are posing in this project or in this thesis or in this whatever you are doing, should feel, after having listened to the background, it should feel utterly important. And it should also feel like the next logical step. So we will have a look soon at how this can be done. But in general, all of this does means that the sort of second important thing, all of these are the same thing. They are preparing for the purpose and aims, to sort of state the purpose and aims. And then once you have done that, to say that the purpose of this thesis is the following, you might also give a mini summary of what the results are and of how the thesis or the project or the work or something like that is structured. But this is more optional. This is the most important thing. Okay, so in systems biology, how is a typical background structured? Well, it's usually like follows. You want to write an introduction, and then I consider systems biology as a part of biology or part of medicine. So I think the best place to start is typically in the medical need for something. So you have some kind of disease or some biological phenomenon that you want to understand more. And if you have a disease, usually you want to argue that this is an important disease. So you want to say that you want to give some statistics on that this is spreading rapidly or it's costly, many people die, some details that makes you as a listener feel, oh, this is really an important disease. We must solve this problem. We must find treatment for this. And then you start to zoom in and basically you say that certain aspects of this disease are known, but others are not. And here you need to give some specific details that are important for your particular story here. And then you can usually argue that one of the reasons why these important aspects here that you have pinpointed are not known yet is that the system is so complex. There are so many things that are affecting each other in a complex interplay of things that it's really hard to unravel how these things work. And then you can say that, well, this is the problem. And then systems biology and mathematical modeling can actually be part of the solution to dealing with this complexity. So then the next natural follow-up question here is, okay, so what is systems biology and what is mathematical modeling? So then you sort of spend the next paragraph on this. So systems biology. Systems biology is a field that has only been around, even though it goes back for many centuries. It's sort of, the concept has only been around for a little bit more than 10 years. And here it's a typical place where you want to give some reference. Probably here you also want to give some references. And then you will probably want to say that some more details about systems biology. That it has basically two main parts. The first part is that you have data that you collect from the system. So you collect things in parallel, maybe using omics technology, or maybe just as much as you can using ordinary technology. And then you have mathematical modeling. And here you usually zoom in a little bit more on the mathematical modeling. And you say that mathematical modeling has two main components. It can basically take a given explanation, and it can see if that explanation or hypothesis can explain the given data, or if it can be rejected. That's the first thing you can do with it. And the second thing you can do is that you can find predictions that help you guide new experiments and understand the properties of the hypothesis more. Here you also want to give some reference, for instance, this one. And here you should also emphasize somehow that modeling can do this in a better way than mere reasoning, and thus deal with complexity in a better way. Because of the complexity, it's hard to do this without modeling. So with modeling, you can deal with complexity and do these things, which are things that you do anyway experimentally. But now using modeling, you can do them better than just using mere reasoning. And then, as a listener, you will probably say, "Okay, this sounds interesting. Has anybody done something on this before?" So you see how everything leads to the next all the time. And then you say, yes, people have done some modeling before. And there probably is for this disease or for this system, but they are not. And then you give some details on some of these models, and they have some strengths, and they probably have some development. X has led to Y, and that's led to Z. But there is still one important question, and here you might go back to some important aspect that you highlighted over here, that these models cannot really answer. So there is still, even though these have done some good things, they are still lacking one important question here, which you have highlighted up here. So therefore, what we present here is a model that can answer this important question. So this is what we do here, and this is the final cloud. And more specifically, we do A, B, and C. We do some specific details. And then when you say that, you might also want to say that, well, these are our results, and the paper is structured as follows, and so on. So this is the typical structure of a systems biology. It's a very generic structure of a systems biology background section. Okay, so now let's move on to some little bit more just specifics for this course on the written report first, and then on the oral first presentation. So for the written report, you should have a first version of the introduction background section, and this should basically follow somehow this structure, and it should also include a statement of the aims. And in the report, this can be fairly loosely described, just in a few sentences. But in the requirement specification, which is the negotiation between you and your customers and the customer, it should be in much more detail. And then you should also outline somehow the rest of the thesis. So which chapters do you include and which sub-chapters do you include? And this should also include probably in the preface, who will write where. And then once you have handed this in, you will get some feedback from us on this. And this is the first text that you produce. So here you will get lots of feedback, and you will get a relatively fully, it will look very black to you. There will be many comments probably on the text, because in the beginning when you write, there are many things that you don't are used to think about. So here you will get lots of feedback on the first small little text that you have written, and then you should update that and bring the knowledge that you have gotten from this feedback both into a new version of the background, and into the rest of the text that is part of the version 2 of the report. And then for the oral presentation, you should do basically the same type of background leading up to the question, and you should state this question also. And this is maybe the most important part of the oral presentation, to sort of give you the opportunity to practice the background story, the motivation of why you have done what you're doing, and also to give the others a feeling of what are all the different projects about. But if you want, you can also say something about how the project will be structured, who will be working with what, and how you will do the time reporting or communication within the group and so on. This is something you can talk about if you want to. Okay, so that is it for the background sections and the version 1 of the presentation and of the report.